to show you my toys.
Hey, this is D Hunter bringing you another action figure review. Today we're going to be looking at the 7-inch scale Neca Mad Predator from the Alien vs. Predator arcade game line. This is an action figure line based off the 1994 Alien vs. Predator arcade game. It was released after the comics became a hit of Alien vs. Predator, and this is quite a ways before the actual Alien vs. Predator film. So you can see this guy, NECA has made them before with sort of old school graphics looking art effects on the figure. Here is the package, Mad Predator, Alien vs. Predator, open mouth. He looks pretty nice in here. He does come with a face hugger and a chestbuster. Side, got a picture of the Predator. Other side, picture of the Predator with maybe with the mask on, which I don't believe is an option with this figure. Backside, actually it's really cool on the backside here, shows the actual action figure with sort of old school bad graphics arcade game background with him in front of it. I really like that. Then it has a list of all the other figures in the wave. We've got the 3 Predators, the 3 Aliens, which are not out yet, and the 2 Humans, which I'm most looking forward to, which are certainly not out yet. Of course, on the bottom, just got NECA 20th Century Fox barcode. The top, Alien vs. Predator warning. And that is pretty much it. Now, I will say, I personally got this figure from Amazon.com. They just released them. I got it with a couple of other figures from NECA as to save on shipping. I do miss ToysRUs.com with their free shipping. This figure was $26.99 plus a little bit of shipping. That was the suggested retail price of this figure. This figure is being sold as an Ultimate, and honestly, maybe I'm speaking prematurely, I feel like that's not quite justified just because of a chestburster and a face hugger. I could be wrong, maybe he comes with a bunch of stuff that I'm not seeing, but he should have an extra head and at least another accessory to be considered an Ultimate. I think this guy should have been considered a regular release. But let's check him out and see. He looks pretty cool. Let's see what he looks like inside. Alright, now that we've got this figure out of the package, here is him with his accessories in their entirety. He comes with a face hugger, a chest burster, as well as a shoulder plasma cannon that attaches to him. Both of the aliens are arcade colored, and they sort of match this Predator's paint scheme, which is pretty cool. We will get a closer look at them shortly. Let's take a quick look at this figure. He looks pretty nice upon first glance. His colors really pop. I like the blue. I like the sort of old school video game sort of look to him. NECA has done this before numerous times, and it kind of grows on you every time. You can kind of see his face, chest area. I like the color contrast in his legs. Pretty nice looking figure so far. Unfortunately, didn't come with more accessories than I was expecting. I went ahead and attached his shoulder cannon. So here's the figure with all of his accessories attached. Really, the face hugger and the chest burster are not exactly accessories to this guy, but they are accessories that came with the figure. Effectively, this figure came with no Predator accessories whatsoever, since the plasma cannon will be permanently attached to him. Here's how the plasma cannon looks. Pretty cool. Like I said, the paint scheme matches the figure. I like it. I like the shading. I think it's pretty nice. Alright, now let's check out this figure's other accessories. I'm actually really excited about the face hugger and chestburster. I love getting a new variation of these. So this guy here, he's got the wire tail as always, will kind of stay in whatever position you want it to go into. The wire goes to about here, and then there's really nothing to do with this back part. So his color scheme. Honestly, I like it a lot. It has a sort of video game look. It doesn't translate perfect action figures, but I do like what they're doing. It works for me. Different kind of shading. It has this brown, light brown, and dark brown kind of variations all over it. Of course, you got the inside as well. Overall, I think it's a pretty cool looking face hugger and a nice addition to my Xenomorph army and nursery. I was considering getting 2 of these figures, but just for the face hugger, another $30, definitely not worth it. Here is the arcade game face hugger compared to a standard NECA face hugger. This is the standard face hugger that's been released several times, and standard coloring, just to kind of compare them, how they look versus each other. This one is actually not too far from the standard coloring. Here he is compared to the other NECA Face Hugger variations they've released. I believe this blue one here came with the Gorilla Alien, the Kenner one. I think this green one here came with the arcade Xenomorph from, I believe, a different arcade game, and he's a pink Xenomorph. Standard, this Predator arcade release, and then we've got the Loot Crate exclusive glow-in-the-dark version that was later released in a Toys R Us 6-egg pack that came with 3 of these facehuggers. Here he is compared to the NECA giant Queen facehugger and the smaller, sort of movie-sized, Kenner-themed Queen facehugger as well. Here he is compared to the NECA facehugger from Alien Covenant, a little bit larger than the standard NECA releases, a little bit different as well. Here he is next to a deceased facehugger, presumably after it impregnated somebody. This one was made by McFarlane Toys and came with one of the versions of Hicks that they made. Here he is compared to another couple of facehuggers in my collection. I'm not 100% sure. I think both of these came with Alien Resurrection figures. I'm certain at least one of them did. I can't have too many to keep track of where they all came from. These guys are larger and pretty cool. Here he is compared to another facehugger. This one is from McFarlane Toys. I believe it came with, maybe one came with a Hicks figure and one came with a different Alien figure. Came with an egg as well that I can stick into. It's a little bit smaller than the standard NECA release and a little bit different on the bottom. Here he is compared to some old Kenner facehuggers that came with the old toys. This one is brown, blue, and red. The brown is the closest to standard in my opinion. Next, let's look at the Chestbuster from this line. Just like the facehugger, he's got a wire in his tail, so it'll kind of stay any direction you want to make it. Does make it a little bit easier to stand him up once you bend the tail like so. He has the same sort of color scheme as the Predator and the facehugger. Got some light brown, some dark brown, some gray. I do love the way it all sort of flows together. I think it looks really nice. Here is a little bit of a clearer picture of the front of the guy, how he looks. Here he is compared to the standard NECA Chestbuster release. You can see this one is in the movie accurate colors, exact same sculpt. Here he is compared to all the different NECA Chestbuster releases they've made that I have. This green one here I think came with the Mantis Kenner Alien. Then we've got the Predator Arcade Alien, the current release we're talking about now, standard NECA release. And this one I believe came with the NECA Arcade Alien figure. He was a pink alien with a pink chestburster. Here's the NECA Arcade style chestburster compared to 2 NECA Alien Covenant chestbursters. This one came from a Neomorph, or became a Neomorph, came from the Spore. This one became a Xenomorph from a traditional egg. Here he is compared to a couple of other chestbursters in my collection. I believe both of these guys to be Queen chestbursters. Then we've got the arcade standard one and another larger one. I feel like these two came with Alien Resurrection toys. I could be wrong about that. This one came with the old Kenner Queen. And then here's my Alien nursery for my facehuggers and chestbursters. Boy, have accumulated a lot over the years. I can see down here is the arcade facehugger release, and then over here all the chestbursters. Got a lot of those buggers. I can see the arcade guy's head sort of popping out in the middle there. And here are all my various eggs and facehuggers. And here are even more facehuggers in a Wayland Yutani base. Now that we've looked over this guy's accessories, we'll check out the height of this figure, and then we'll check out his articulation, and then some comparison shots with other Alien and Predator figures. So the NECA Predator figures are traditionally of the 7-inch scale, and since Predators are a little bit taller than humans, they usually come out to be about 8 inches. This guy here looks like he's sitting at about 8¼ inches tall. Next, let's look at this guy's articulation. Let's start at the top of the figure. We've got his plasma canister. It can move like so, has a little bit of joint or articulation down at the bottom. It also has some articulation on the top part of this thing. It can go up and down. It can also go around. Then we've got his head. Of course, it can go around, really no problem. This is as high as it can look up by itself. And then down about that much, not too much with the head. It's got his shoulders go out about, that's as far as it'll go. It's got this armor obstructing it. Now if you were to move this shoulder out, it doesn't go as far out, and if you were to move it up, you would totally break this thing off. I'm trying to be careful with that. He's got a bicep cut here. He's got double jointed elbows, which I love. You can scratch his head, he can look like he's thinking, etc. He's got these blades, and of course they're articulated like most of the Predators and come out about that far and go back in. I do notice they're pretty much a solid white, sort of silver color. Then his wrists, of course, they go around, can go down about that far and up to the blades. He's got an ab crunch in the middle, can make his head look down that far and all the way up that far, enhances how much he can look up and down, and it can twist around. Then he's got waist swivel, nice range of motion there. He can also look up and down a little bit as well. His legs can go out about that far. He's got these armor pieces, which are soft and movable, but they sort of obstruct it and prevent it from going up too much. Cannot fully do the splits. Can go up and down. Double jointed knees, all the way back around, no problem at all. His feet, I do like the way NECA handles these. They can go around, no big deal, up, down as well, not too much there. And they can rock and tilt. They've got some kind of ball in there. Looks really nice, joints hidden, and it can do pretty much everything you need to get all the poses you would like out of this guy. In addition to that, on his articulation, got a little bit of quality control issues. One of his blades here feels like it's kind of breaking. I'm going to probably have to add some super glue up here. Feels like it's on its last legs. I don't know if I got stuck on something on the package when I took it out or what, or if it was just made poorly. I'll have to enhance this with some super glue. It will not prevent it from going in and out, but right now it's very delicate. And he also has his wrist gauntlet, sort of bomb computer thing. Now, it was really difficult to get this open. I had to pry it open, and it did break here. You can kind of see it's not attached down below. It's completely severed here. It has sort of a metal rod in there and a hinge. This side's working fine, so this thing is on borrowed time and it's completely undetailed inside of there. So here's the Mad Predator on the left compared to the Warrior Predator on the right. The Warrior Predator was actually one of the good guys in the game. I did want to look at the two figures together and see how much reuse there was between the two figures. So obviously their heads are different. The Warrior Predator is using the Jungle Hunter head, painted differently. Their plasma canisters are identical. Their arms look to be completely identical. They have different hands, but they have like the same rings on their fingers. Other arm looks like it's completely identical as well. Torso, completely identical, except this guy has a little necklace added. Pretty much, honestly, these figures are completely identical except for the necklace and the different hands, but these hands are just reused from previous Predator releases as well. I do very much enjoy the way these two figures look. Their coloring is nice, but there sure is a lot of reuse by NECA, and I do understand why they do that to save costs. Just want to make sure I covered that. Here he is compared to the NECA Jungle Hunter video game release. This guy is also colored blue, but completely different color scheme. Has that sort of old school NES or whatnot sort of color scheme. Looks odd. The way they color these guys, it works for me. I personally don't think it translates quite well from video game to plastic form, but cool they're making additional video game figures. Here he is compared to the NECA Arcade Alien He's a pink alien from an arcade game. Has that similar color scheme too, to translate from the video game. Quite a bit taller than this guy. And this guy is done with the ultimate Xenomorph body. And while we're on the subject of comparing him to other video game aliens and predators, this predator here is from the 2010 video game Alien vs. Predator. He's quite a bit taller than the Mad Predator on the right. He's made with the newer AVP body. Here he is compared to the most recent wave of Predator figures. We've got Hornhead, Broken Tusk, and Machiko. Machiko being quite a bit shorter than them, and the other two actually being a little bit taller than the Mad Predator. They have the ultimate articulation, just like the Mad Predator does. This is why I'm sort of complaining why the Mad Predator costs the ultimate price, whereas these guys cost just the regular retail price of $21.99. I didn't feel like Mad Predator's accessories justified his price, and this does show that ultimate articulation can be done on non-ultimate figures. Here he is compared to a couple of other recent Ultimate NECA releases. These are absolutely gorgeous figures. On the left here we've got Ultimate Ahab with the engineer gun, and on the right we've got the fugitive Predator from the most recent movie, The Predator. And here he is compared to NECA's two most recent Predator releases. This was a Predator 2-pack with two Ultimate figures, Bad Blood versus Enforcer. The Bad Blood Predator is on the far left and the Enforcer on the right. A little bit taller than the Mad Predator. Next, I would like to compare him to all the Predator movie figures from each film. This is him compared to the Ultimate Jungle Hunter on the left. I must say, upon looking at these two figures, they've used pretty much the entire Jungle Hunter body, repainted to make these arcade Predators. It works for me, and I'm okay with it. Just wanted to point out, pretty much all the reuse comes from this guy. Now here's the Mad Predator compared to the Ultimate City Hunter Predator on the left. Here he is compared to the Predator figures from the Alien vs. Predator movie. We've got Scar, Celtic, and Chopper. Here he is compared to the Wolf Predator figure from Alien vs. Predator Requiem. This is an older NECA figure before they made the Ultimates and the newer style figures. It's quite a bit shorter than the Mad Predator, and his articulation honestly kind of sucks. They are going to be releasing an Ultimate Wolf, they said, sometime in 2019. I'm guessing it's going to be early 2020. He's going to have a ton of articulation, a lot bigger, with tons of accessories and heads and whatnot. Here he is compared to the Predator clan from the movie Predators. We've got Berserker, Falcon, and Tracker. And even though we've already shown him once, this is the fugitive from the most recent film, The Predator. I cannot wait to get the additional figures from the film. There is a Target exclusive thermal fugitive Predator. He has not been released in my area yet. If anybody has one in a nearby Target and is willing to help me out, drop me a line. Cannot wait to get the upgrade as well. This guy's going to be absolutely huge. And there are the two Emissary Predators, and I think those guys are going to be absolutely awesome as well. And I do believe NECA has teased they are going to be making even more figures for that film. I'm guessing we will get the Predator Killer, even though I have mixed feelings on that guy. Here he is compared to a standard Xenomorph figure. This is an Ultimate Xenomorph from the film Aliens, considerably taller than the Mad Predator figure. Here he is compared to a couple of engineer figures from Prometheus. They're a little bit taller than him, and they should be quite a bit taller than him in my opinion, but they do scale up nicely action figure wise. And then here he is compared to some human figures from some Alien and Predator lines. So all in all, I do like this figure. There are definitely pros and cons to him. I think he looks really nice. The paint scheme and application is really good. Really crisp paint. I like the way he moves. I like the way he looks. I like that he's from this video game. I did play this as a kid a few times, but it's been, God, so many years since I played that. The cons would be, I really don't like the fact that he's pretty much 100% reuse and just painted differently. I also don't think the ultimate price was justified. I think he should have been released at a standard price. But I would recommend this figure. If I were to give him a rating, probably like a 7 out of 10, 7.5. If I go back in time, I still would have bought him. So this is D Hunter. If you enjoyed this video, press like below. If you want to see additional videos from me, press subscribe. If you have any comments about the video, please put them below. If you did not like the video, please tell me why. If you have any other action figure review requests, please post them below. Thanks for watching. This is D Hunter. I'll talk to you guys soon.